Welcome everyone. It's good to see you for our 45-minute Vinyasa practice today. Hope everyone is doing well on this, what is the 9th of February? I think it's the 9th anyway. Let's take a couple of moments just to become present. So find a seated position on your mat. Make your way to your mat now if you're not there already. And then if you like, let your eyes close down. And let's just pay attention to our breath for about 5 breaths. And with that breath awareness, allow yourself to become present both to your practice and to your mat. So become aware that you're resting on your mat, or you're sitting on your mat. And also allow yourself to become aware that we're about to begin our yoga practice. In fact, we've already begun. This is a part of our practice. About 3 more deep breaths. Let the breath get successively deeper. And now 2 more. And 1 more. All right, bring your hands to the top of your knees, palms facing down, sit up nice and tall, and then pull your shoulders up, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, and then exhale and just let the shoulders drop down. Do that again. Shrug the shoulders up, breathe in, and exhale, and let the shoulders drop down. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, let the shoulders shrug up towards the ears. Now pull the shoulders back and then bring them down. Sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath. And then let the breath go, but keep the length in the spine. Now look to your left, and then to the right. We're going to slow things down a little bit today, and off to the left, or at least that's my intention, and to the right. And then one more time to the left, then last time to the right, and then back to center, right ear towards right shoulder. Let the head float up. And left ear towards the left shoulder, and again the head floats to center. Repeat it, right ear towards right shoulder, head floats center, and left ear to left shoulder, and let the head float back up. One more time on each side. And then back to center and over to the left. And then let the head float back up. Now take another deep breath in, let your spine lengthen, draw your navel in this time, and then bring your chin to your chest. And on an inhale, lift the chin up high. On the exhale, bring the chin down. And inhale, lift the chin back up. One more time through, chin towards chest. Keep the spine long. And then lift the chin high. And then bring the chin back so it's nice and level. Bring your arms out to a T, bend the elbows. Touch the top of the shoulders with the fingers, and then straighten the arms. Again, going nice and slow so you can begin to sense or feel the sensation of that elbow joint on both sides as it bends. And just notice what that feels like. Maybe begin to feel a sensation of the muscles involved in that movement. Now straighten the arms and make gentle fists. And let's roll the fists around at the wrists and then back the other way. And one more time around. Then reach the arms out, open the hands, and just let the fingers move a little bit. Now bring the right hand down. Reach the left hand straight up so your bicep, the left bicep, is right outside the left ear or alongside it. Now keep the arm long, and we're going to circle the arm in the shoulder joint. Reach up as far as you can, and then forward, keeping the arm straight, and then down, and then back up. We're just going to go around 3 times, one direction only, and then bring the left hand down. And we're going to do the same on the right side, going around. Nice big movements, big circles. And one more time. And that's it. Then bring it down. Let's find table pose now. Then once we're in table pose, let your right knee lift up a little. So bring the weight into the left knee. and then just circle that right knee around, making circles that are maybe about, like 9 inches in diameter with the knee. And then straighten the leg, press back through the right heel, and then bend the right knee, bring the knee forward, maybe touch your nose with the right knee, and then press the right heel straight back. Do that a second time. Bring the knee forward, maybe touch the nose, and then reach straight back. And one more time. Bring the knee forward, and then press straight back, and then bring that right knee down. Let's go over to the other side now. Left knee picks up, and just circle that left knee around a few times, making circles that are, about 9 inches or so is what I estimated on the other side. You can go around a few times one way and then maybe back a few times the other. And then press the left heel straight back, straightening the left leg. Toes are pointing down on that left foot. And then bring the left knee forward, maybe touch your nose, spine rounds, and then press straight back. Do that a second time, bending the left knee, bringing it forward, and then pressing back. Let's do it one more time. Knee comes forward, and then press straight back, and then bring the left knee down so it's met the right knee. Come back now to a seat. Cross-legged position if you can. Sit up nice and tall again. Now take a twist to the left, and then back to center, and take a twist to the right. Bring it back to center, and twist to the left, and back to center, and twist to the right. One more time on each side. Back to the left, and to the right. Now come back to center, and reach both hands up and overhead. Palms come together, interlace the fingers, stretch the palms up towards the sky, draw your navel in, and then press up through the palms a little more. If you want to look up towards the palms, feel free to do that. Now take a little bend to the left, and then back to center, and a little bend to the right, and back to center. Press up through the palms again until you feel that stretch here in the armpits. And then release the hands out to a T, and bring your right hand down, bend the right elbow, and reach the left hand up and over. So we're stretching the left side body. On an inhale, rise up, engage the core, and bring the left hand down, bend the left elbow, and reach with the right hand. On an inhale, rise back up. Twice more now on each side, reaching with the left hand, and rise, and bring that left hand down, and reach with the right. We've got one more time on each side. Right hand comes down, left hand reaches, and back up, and left hand down, and the right hand reaches. Now come all the way back up, and now bring your hands, bring the hands behind you, interlace your fingers. I didn't say that right. Bring your hands here, right in front of your face. Now interlace your fingers, and then bring your hands to the back of your head is where I was trying to get to. Reach the elbows apart from one another. Sit up nice and tall. Draw the navel in. Now bring your chin towards your chest. We're going to round forward. Bring the elbows together, maybe touching the elbows, and then see if you can bring your elbows all the way down, feeling that big stretch in the low back, maybe touching the elbows to the mat. On an inhale, rise up. Keep the fingers interlaced, reach the elbows apart. Now lift the chin, press your chest towards the sky. Just a little back bend. Let's go through that again. Elbows come together as you draw the navel in. Bring the elbows down, maybe touching the mat. And inhale and rise up. Find that little back bend. And last time, elbows come together, bring them down, maybe touch the mat. And inhale and rise, reach the elbows apart. Lift your chin, look up towards the sky. Now level your chin and bring the hands down in front, and then let's roll over the knees into table pose, our second time in table pose. Take a breath and another one. Now drop your belly and lift your chin, and we're going to go through cow and cat. This is cow pose. Now exhale to cat pose and press your hands into the mat as you move into cat pose. Now inhale to cow and exhale to cat and continue flowing from cow to cat. We're going to do 5 more, so we will have done a total of 7. Keep it going, breathing into cow and breathing out to cat. Good work. Keep it going. Inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. You're doing great. Twice more. Inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. And inhaling to cow. This is the last one. And then exhale to cat pose. And then come back to a neutral spine. Once you're there, step the left foot forward, bringing it between the hands. And then press the left knee forward a little bit. Make an effort to press your hips down towards that left heel. One more breath. Now, straighten the left leg. Press the left hip back. If you want more sensation in the back of the left leg, pick the toes on the left foot up off the mat like I just did and press through that left heel. At the same time, reach your head forward. Good. Now bend the left knee. We're going to do this 3 times on this side. Press the knee forward. Press the hips down towards the left heel. And then straighten the left leg. Pull your head forward so the neck is lengthening. And this is the last one. Bend the left knee, or at least on this side. This is the last one. And then press back through the left heel. Through the left hip. And then bend your left knee. Now tuck your toes and bring your left knee off the mat. Leave the right hand on the mat and reach the left hand high. We're going to add a little twist here. One more breath. Good. Now bring the left hand down so it comes to the outside of that left foot. And then let your hips drop down a little bit and press back on that right heel. And then bring your right knee to the mat, untuck the toes on the right foot, and step the left knee back so it meets the right knee. We've come back to table pose. Let's flow through cow and cat. And exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Keep inhaling, and then exhale to cat. Keep exhaling. And one more. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. And then come back to a neutral spine. Pause for a moment in table pose. And then step the right foot forward, bringing it between the hands. Now press that right knee forward. And remember here to press the hips towards the right heel, just like we did on the other side. And then begin to straighten that right leg. Press the right hip back. Pull your head forward. And if you want, pick the toes up on that right foot and press into the right heel. For me, that creates a huge stretch on the back of the right leg and the hamstring muscles. If that's too much, bring the toes back down to the mat. That'll loosen it or lessen it a bit. Now bend the right knee, bring it forward. Press the hips towards that right heel, and then straighten the leg. Press that right hip back. Remember to pull your head forward. And notice how that probably increases the sensation you're feeling in that right hip and the back of the right leg. Now bend the right knee. This is the last one. And then press back through that right heel, or right hip. I keep wanting to say press back through the heel. And then bend the right knee. Now tuck the toes and bring your left knee off the mat. Leave the left hand on the mat and reach the right hand high as we come into our twist. If you've straightened that right leg a bit, see if you can rebend it so that right knee is bent about 90 degrees. And then bring the right hand down outside that right foot. Now just pause and press back on the left heel. Just notice what that feels like. Feel the engagement of the calf muscles on the back of that left leg. Now step the right knee back to table pose. Drop your belly and lift your chin. And then exhale to cat pose. Now I want you to pause in cat. Press your hands into the mat and bring your forehead a little closer, maybe just a ½ inch, to the knees. At the same time, press the middle of the back more up towards the sky and draw your navel up at the same time. A lot of things to be doing. Now from there, just press the hips back to the heels. Pause for a moment. Walk your hands forward a little bit until you feel a stretch in the upper part of the back, maybe between the shoulder blades. Now rise up through table pose. Glide the hips forward and down. lift the chin. Now tuck your toes and lift your hips straight into a downward facing dog. Take a breath. And then as you exhale, glide forward, coming to plank pose. And then let your knees come down to the mat. Untuck your toes and press your hips back to your heels. Now walk the hands forward a little bit more, kind of clawing them forward so you feel that stretch in the upper part of the back. And then rise through table pose, gliding the hips forward and then down. Now press your chest forward, let the shoulder blades come a little bit closer together on the back, lift the chin. Now tuck the toes and lift your hips, finding downward facing dog. Second time here. We're going to go through that flow one more time. Glide forward to plank pose. Establish yourself in plank. Then bring your knees to the mat. Untuck your toes and press your hips back to your heels. You can let your forehead come down towards the mat. Walk the hands forward a little bit more. Now rise through table pose. Glide the hips forward and down. And then tuck your toes and lift your hips into downward facing dog. We're going to find 3 breaths now in downward dog. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, press your heels down towards the mat a little bit more. Do that again, a big deep breath in. And then as you exhale, press the heels down. If this is too much in the back of the legs, bend the knees a bit. And one more time, deep breath in. Exhale, press the heels down. I'm having real trouble with that word today. And now pedal it out. Bend one knee and then the other. And see if you can bring the heel all the way down to the mat on the leg you're straightening. And just continue flowing from side to side. Notice I'm going to let my hips sway from side to side, which will accentuate that stretch that you're creating. And we'll do that a couple more times on each side. And maybe one more time through. And then come back to downward dog. Press both heels down towards the mat. And now slowly walk forward. So pick that left foot up and let it swing forward. And then the right foot. And then the left foot. Try and keep your hands on the mat. And the right foot. And the left foot. And the right foot. And then come to a standing forward fold with your head dropping down. The knees can bend here if you like. Now bring the weight forward into the front of the feet a little bit more. And now with your chin on your chest, draw your navel up as you rise. And once you come all the way up, let your arms float up and overhead, and then exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Take 2 breaths. The eyes can close down. And one more. Now bring the arms out to a T and then swan dive into a forward fold. Come to a half lift. Then as you exhale, let your head drop all the way down. Step the right foot back. Now step the left foot back. Plank pose. Take a breath. Now bring your knees to the mat. Cobra pose. Press the pubic bone down, remember, in cobra pose. So the pubic bone is pressing into the mat. Tops of the feet are pressing into the mat. The heart is up off the mat and the elbows are bent. Release. Come all the way down. Now tuck your toes, push to plank, and then let your hips come up into downward facing dog. Press your hands into the mat. On an inhale, lift the left leg just a little and then step it all the way forward so it comes between the hands. And then step the right foot forward into a standing forward fold. The head drops down. Now inhale to a half lift. Lengthen the spine. And exhale, let your head drop down. Now bring the arms to a T and slowly rise. Keep the spine long as you come up. Let your arms float high. And then exhale the hands, bringing them back to heart center. On an inhale, reach up. And again, swan dive. Beautiful swan dive down. Forward fold. Come to a half lift. This time hands to the top of the shins, right below the knees. Press the palms into the shins, lengthening your spine, reaching your head forward. So you're kind of leaning forward into the pose. Then as you exhale, fold forward, let your head drop all the way down. Keep the right foot forward, left foot steps back, runner's lunge. Press back on the left heel. Left hand stays on the mat. Right hand reaches high. Rebend that right knee, pressing the right knee forward. And then bring the right hand down outside the right foot. Left knee comes to the mat this time. Untuck the toes on the left foot. Rise to a low crescent lunge, reaching the arms high, pressing the right knee forward. Take a breath. Now bring the arms to a T and twist to the right. Bring the left elbow to the right knee, palms joined together, and reach the right elbow high. This is a lunge, or a prayer twist rather. Take a breath. Now keep the palms together. Press into the right foot as you rise. Reach the arms high. Then as you exhale, bring the hands behind you. Interlace the fingers behind the back and press the knuckles towards the left heel. Just find a little back bend. If you want to lift your chin, feel free to do that. Level the chin. Reach the arms back up. And then bring the hands down on either side of the right foot. Tuck the toes and bring the left knee off the mat. And right foot steps back to plank pose. Take a breath. And let the breath go. Now knees to the mat. Chest and chin follow. Inchworming your way into cobra pose. And then release. Now tuck your toes, push to plank, and lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Lots of length in the spine here. One more breath. On an inhale now, reach the right leg up, and then step it forward so the right foot ends up between the hands. I think we already did this side. Let's go over to the other side. Step the left foot forward. Leave the right hand on the mat. Reach the left hand high, coming into that lunge twist. And then bring the left hand down. Bring the right knee to the mat. Untuck the toes. Press into the left foot and rise to our low crescent lunge on our second side. I think we've gotten there. Make sure your shoulders and your hips are square to the front of the mat. Now arms to a T. Take your twist to the left and bring the elbow to the knee, joining the palms. Left elbow over the palms, palms over the right elbow. Breathe. Keep the palms together now. Press into the left foot as you come up. Feel that core engage as you do that, and then reach the arms high. Bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back, and then press the palms towards one another, straighten the elbows. Press the knuckles towards the right heel. Lift your chin if you want to. It's optional. Release the hands now, reach them high. And then exhale them down on either side of the left foot. Tuck the toes and bring the right knee off the mat. Press back on the right heel. And then step the right foot forward so it comes between the hands. Let your head drop down. Take opposite elbows now. Press the elbows down towards the big toes. See if you can reduce the distance, even just a little bit, between the elbows and the mat. The other thing to do here is to bring the weight forward into the front of the feet so that your heels are almost floating. This should probably create some sensation in the back of the legs. And if the sensation is too intense, remember to bend the knees. You can regulate the amount of sensation by the amount you bend your knees. Keep the weight in the front of the feet, keep your biceps on either side of your ears, and keep opposite elbows as you rise. Come up nice and slow. Deep engagement of the core muscles now as you come up. Then once you're up, reach your elbows towards the sky and bring your feet so they're about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider than that. Reach up high through the elbows and then take a bend over to your right side and feel that stretch here on the left side of the body. Reach through that left elbow and then inhale, rise back up. The core engages deeply as you do that, and then come to the other side. Reach through the right elbow now and inhale and rise back up. One more time on each side, reaching through the left elbow, pressing it over to the right, and inhale back up. Last one, reach through that right elbow, reaching it to the left, and inhale back up. Now reach through the elbows again. Now keep the biceps on either side of the ears. Keep your spine long, hinge at the hips, and slowly fold forward. Eventually come all the way down and reach the elbows down towards the big toes. Bend the knees if you want. And then release the hands. Bring the hands down to the mat. And then step your right foot back. Left foot stays forward. Leave the right hand on the mat. Reach the left hand high. This is our lunge twist. See if you can bend that left knee a little bit more. And then bring the left hand down so it meets the right hand. Now, left knee stays bent and rise to a high crescent lunge, pressing back on that right heel. One more breath. Now bring the hands down on either side of the left foot, and then step the left foot back to meet the right foot in plank pose. Take a breath. And one more. On the exhale, flow through Vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga into upward facing dog. In upward dog, your knees are off the mat if you can. Nice deep back bend. And then when you're ready, slowly move to downward facing dog. Press the heels down towards the mat in downward dog, feeling the length in the spine. On an inhale, reach the right leg up, and then step it forward so the right foot comes between the hands. Right knee bent about 90 degrees, rise to a high crescent lunge on our second side. Settle into the pose, pressing back on the left heel. One more breath. Now bring the hands down to the mat and step the left foot forward. Let your head drop down. Now arms come out to a T. Press into the front of the feet as you rise. Reach up high and look up towards the palms, and then exhale the hands to heart center. Take a breath. And two more. You can let your eyes close down here if you like. Maybe one more deep, deep breath. Now let your eyes gently open and transfer the weight to the right foot. Pick the left foot up, bend the left knee. If the balance is feeling challenging, bring your awareness to a point on the floor in front of you that isn't moving. Maybe pick that left knee up a little higher. And then release. Bring it down. Now take a breath. Now let's go over to the other side so the left foot stays down. The right knee bends. Pick the right knee up. And then maybe pick that right knee up a little bit higher. And release. Bring it down. Now transfer the weight to the right foot. Let's find tree pose. Sole the left foot to the inside of the right leg. You can bring your hands to heart center. You can bring them out or up. Your option. Find your place in tree pose. And breathe. 3 more breaths. And 2 more. Stay with it. You're doing great. And release. Bring the foot back down. Bring your hands back to heart center. Let's find tree pose on our second side. Weight transfers to the left foot. Pick the right foot up. And bring the sole of the right foot either to the inside of the thigh or to the lower part of the leg. Or maybe bring that right heel to the left ankle and the big toe on the right foot on the mat. A perfectly appropriate and valid way to do tree pose. 3 breaths now. Breathing in and out. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Release the foot now. Bring your hands back to heart center if they're not there. Leave the hands at heart center, hinge at the hips, and begin very slowly fold forward. Keep the spine nice and long. You can bend the knees here if you need to. Come to a half lift. And then as you exhale, Take a 3/4 step back with the right foot, with the left foot. So your right foot is forward. Now bend your right knee a bit and rise to warrior one. The toes on my left foot are at about a 35-degree angle. They're pointing more or less to the upper left corner of my mat. Remember to square your shoulders and square your hips. That's the hard part. You need to pull the left hip forward and the right hip back for most of us in order to move into warrior one pose fully. Now, bring the right hand behind you and press the back of the hand into the sacrum, the low back. Now reach up through the left hand and keep your right knee bent. Now hinge at the hips and come down halfway, reaching that left hand forward, and then press into the right foot and rise back up. Let's do that one more time on this side. Reaching forward with the left hand, come down halfway, and then rise back up. Now bring the hands back to heart center. Bring the weight into the right foot and step the left foot forward. Hinge at the hips and come all the way down. Forward fold. Come to a half lift and exhale. Let your head drop down. This time the left foot stays forward. The right foot comes back. 3/4 step is usually about enough. Bend the left knee and rise to warrior one on our second side. Now check your alignment. Square your shoulders, square your hips to the front of your mat. And then when you're ready, bring your left hand behind you. Press the back of the left hand into the sacrum, the very low back. Reach up through the right hand. So extend up through the right hand. Extend through that shoulder. And then bend the left knee a little more. Now stay grounded in the back foot, the right foot. Hinge at the hip. And reach forward with the right hand. And then slowly rise back up. Let's do that one more time. Reaching forward with that right hand. And then press into the right foot and rise all the way back up. Release the left hand. Both hands are up. And then bring hands to heart center. Keep the left foot forward. And then step keep your left foot forward. Step the right foot forward to meet it. Take a breath. Now hinge at the hips and fold forward. Come to a half lift. And then as you exhale, bend your knees. And we're going to come into ski racer pose. I think most of you know this pose. Reach the hands forward. Notice my upper body is pretty much resting on my thighs, and almost all the weight is in my heels. I'm making an effort to extend between my fingertips and my tailbone. So the tailbone is pressing back, the fingertips are pressing forward, and I'm creating lots of length in the upper body. Now bring the hands down to the mat, press them into the mat as you lift your hips, and then let your head drop down. Take another breath. Let's find a second ski racer pose. Reach the hands forward. Bring your weight back into the heels even a little bit more, and breathe. Your gaze is down at the mat. Now bring the hands to the mat. Lift the hips and let your head drop down. Let the head get really heavy and release the neck muscles. One more breath. Now bend the knees. Let's come all the way down to the back. And once you're on your back, bring the soles of the feet together into cobbler pose. I'm just checking on the time, so you may wonder why I'm looking off out of the camera frame. It's because I have a little clock over there that's telling me what time it is. I need a big clock on the wall so I can see it. Take a deep breath. You can bring your hands to your ankles if you want. Pull up on the ankles. Feel the spine lengthening. Bring the knees together now. And then bring your hands to the outside of the feet. So left hand to the outside of the left foot, right hand to the outside of the right foot. And then lean back. Whoa. Lean back. And bring the shins so they're about parallel to the floor. Now hug the knees in towards the armpits. And now straighten the legs to the extent that you can. This is heron pose. We've done this many times before. One more breath. Now release the hands into boat pose. And then let your heels float gently to the mat, very slowly, very gentle. Now reach the arms up and overhead. Get long in the upper body. Now hinge at the hips and fold forward. Let your head come down towards your shin or your knees. Now chin on chest and round the spine as you rise. And let it go. Now sole the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. And then reach the arms up and overhead. Hinge at the hips and fold forward over just this one leg. Let your forehead come down towards the shin. Now reach the fingertips forward, so let go of anything you may have a hold of with the hands. Press into the right heel and rise. Now the arms come out to a T. Take a twist to the left and plant the left hand behind you. Press into the left knee and reach up and over with the right hand. You can let your head drop down. Press the hips a little higher if you like. Open the right side of the heart towards the sky. Maybe look up. One more breath. Good. Now release it. Very controlled. Let your hips come down to the mat. Then swing your shoulders around so they're square to the extended right leg. Hinge at the hips and fold forward. Let your head come down. Now chin on chest. Round the spine as you rise. And let's go to the other side. So bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Straighten that left leg. Press the left heel forward. The toes on that left foot are pointing straight up. Reach your arms up and overhead. Now square your shoulders to the extended left leg. Hinge at the hips and fold forward. Maybe your forehead touches your knee or your shin. And maybe you want to bend that left knee a little bit. Now press into the back of the heel on that left leg. And arms come out to a T. Take your twist to the right. Plant the right hand pretty far back. And then lift the hips. Press into the right knee. Press into the left foot. And then reach with the left hand. And maybe open the left side of your heart space up towards the sky. And you may want to look up as well, deepening the back bend. And that's it. Release it. Bring it all down. Square the shoulders to the extended left leg. Hinge at the hips and fold forward. Now with chin on chest, round your spine as you rise. And then straighten both legs. We've come all the way back up. Reach the arms up. Bring the heels so they're to the edges of the mat. Now hinge at the hips and fold forward, keeping your spine as long as you can. So notice my back is rounding in the lower part of the back, but the upper part of the back is pretty flat. And that's what we're working towards here. Couple more breaths. And of course, if this creates too much sensation in the back of the legs, bend the knees. That'll reduce the sensation. 2 more breaths. Keep the spine long now as you rise. And then once you come all the way up, roll down to your back. And once you're on your back, bring the soles of the feet together into inverted cobbler pose. Supta Baddha Konasana is the name of the pose in Sanskrit. Remember, you can move your heels closer to or farther away from your pubic bone. And depending on where the heels are, that'll change the way the pose feels. So it may create more sensation in the hips, the outside of the hips or the inner part of the thighs. And just find a place that feels right for you. Now, 3 more breaths. And 2 more. Now reach your arms up and overhead and take opposite elbows. Keep the feet and the legs just the way they were. So your the pinky toe side of both feet are still pressing into the mat. Now take a deep breath and reach the elbows towards the back of the mat. Now take another deep breath in, and then as you exhale, press into the pinky toes and lift your tailbone off the mat, just a bit. You've probably brought your knees a little bit together as you did that. Try and relax the inner part of the thighs so the knees can move apart from one another and down, just a bit, not too much. One more breath. Good. Now release the tailbone down. Once the tailbone lands, you can release your hands, bring them down by your side. Bring the knees back so they're about hip width apart, and then hug the knees in towards the chest. Keep the back of your head on the mat and try and pin the back of your shoulder blades to the mat. Now release the hands from the legs, reach the heels to the sky. This is legs up the wall pose, a pose you know very well. Now press your tailbone down towards the mat. And if you're like most of us, the tailbone won't quite land, but you can press your sacrum down into the mat. Keep pressing up through both feet. Now keep the legs straight and bring the right leg all the way down to the mat so the right heel lands. That left leg is still pressing straight up. Now the arms can come out to a T, and see if you can bring your left leg all the way over to the side, to the right side, and maybe get a hold of the big toe on that left foot. Your gaze will move to the left. You may want to scoot your hips over to the left as well. Now notice anywhere that you feel tension in this pose. And if you do feel tension in the pose, bring your awareness to that spot or spots. The next time you exhale, invite the tension to release. Invite it to let go. We'll do that twice more. Breathing in and exhaling and releasing any tension you feel. And one more time on this side. And then let it go. Bring the left leg all the way back up so that we're back to legs up the wall. Center your hips on your mat if you've moved the hips over. And then bring the left leg down. Keep the right leg up. And now bring the right leg over to the left side and maybe get a hold of the big toe on the left foot or on the right foot with the left hand. Your gaze is to the right. So the opposite of what we did before. Now take a moment and see if you feel any tension anywhere in the body in this pose. Now 3 breaths, making an effort to release any tension, particularly on the exhale. Moving towards surrender. Moving towards letting go of tension. Letting go of muscular engagement. One last breath. Let's let that right leg come back to center. Both legs reach up the wall. And then bend the knees. Hug the knees into your chest. And if it feels good, bring your forehead towards your knees, rounding the spine. Release the head back to the mat. And then rock yourself very gently to a seat. And once you're seated, feel your sitting bones resting on your mat. Now take a deep breath in. You can bring your hands to heart center if you like. Take a deep breath in. Draw the navel in and feel the spine actually lengthening so your head is rising up. Now open your mouth and let all the breath go. Let's do that one more time. A deep breath in, a lengthening breath. And then exhale and let it all go. Thank you so much for joining us today. I offer you, as I always do, loving kindness. May you be happy and well, and may you be safe. Be peaceful and at ease. Namaste.